everyone, welcome to our Plug and Play APAC Summit Travel and Sustainability Program. My name is Sarah and I'm the Community Manager for our travel batch here in Singapore. Thank you for taking time to join us for the session today. For this batch, we have selected startups that has a huge focus on sustainable solutions to support the tourism industry. Focus areas include energy, CO2 emissions, plastic, COVID-19 related topics, and also water usage. To officially kickstart the event, I would like to invite our APAC Travel and Sustainability Lead, Patricia Nordstrom, to share more about our program overview and activities during the course of this batch. Patricia, please.
Good afternoon from Singapore. Welcome to our APAC Summit and for joining us for yet another big year of Plug and Play in the region. My name is Patricia, and I focus on our travel and sustainability programs here in Singapore. Our travel vertical was launched in 2016 in our Silicon Valley headquarters. Since then, we launched offices in more than 5 cities around the world to cover the tourism sector, in Europe, as well as in China, and also in Southeast Asia. Globally, we're known as the largest travel accelerator, having worked with more than 250 startups to accelerate their growth across multiple markets since inception. Today, we're completing the second batch as part of our Travel Singapore program, and they will be expoing at the APAC Summit today.
Next up, we'll have our keynote segment by ADB Ventures. Please welcome our next speaker.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Hello from Bangkok, Thailand, which is where I'm based. My name is Dominic Mellor, and I'm a Principal Investment Specialist at the Asian Development Bank, ADB, responsible for managing the ADB Ventures, which is the venture arm of the Asian Development Bank. Before I go into talking about ADB Ventures, let me just give you a little bit of a background on ADB itself. So ADB is the largest development financial institution in the Asia Pacific. We currently have a portfolio of around $110 billion. We lend both to government, public sector, as well as to private sector for development objectives. So for example, on the public sector side, we build large-scale national infrastructure projects. On the private sector side, we lend to large corporations in the agricultural sector, the social sectors, and we also provide a lot of advisory support services to government. So why are we getting into ventures? There's a couple of reasons. First of all, a lot of our existing clients, operational networks that we've built up over the last decades, there's an increasing demand for the latest innovation and technology. And so we believe that to better support our existing clients, we also need to get involved in technology innovation. So it's a strategic play for us. At the same time, we also believe in the power of innovation and the power of entrepreneurship to solve some of the biggest problems in the Asia Pacific. And when we looked at the existing funding available in the region, we felt there were a few gaps that we wanted to plug in. And I'm going to talk through those as I go through the presentation. So what is ADB Ventures? A quick overview. We just launched this year a new fund called ADB Ventures Investment Fund 1, which reached capitalization at $60 million in September. And this fund primarily provides funding to pre-Series A and Series A companies. Typically, we would invest our first check between $500,000 and $3 million, but we can invest up to $4 million in an individual company. We look to catalyze and co-invest with other commercial investors, including family offices, other VCs, and corporates. One distinction between our fund and a normal typical VC fund is that it's a slightly longer term fund. We can hold up to 10 years. And that's because some of the sectors we're interested in, such as agri-tech, clean tech, circular economy tech, we believe that sometimes there's a need to be more patient because of slightly more uncertain payback periods. But we are investing for commercial reasons, and always we assess the options for exit at future dates. Complementing the investment fund, we have another funding vehicle we've called the technical assistance, which funds 2 separate activities. The first is ADB Ventures Seed, and the second is ADB Ventures Labs. Seed provides smaller scale grants up to $200,000 to companies in return for investment rights. And here we want to really test and validate these solutions before deciding on whether to invest in these companies. So it's a way for us to be able to take a little bit more risk, but get the upside if these companies are successful in piloting their solutions in an emerging market context. The last activity that we operate, also funded through the technical assistance, is called the ADB Ventures Labs. ADB Ventures Labs is done in partnership with Plug and Play. We look to combine our networks. So as I mentioned in my introduction, ADB has a very extensive, unique network of public sector and private sector clients across the region, and very close relationships with various regulators. These relationships and networks are potentially very valuable to technology providers. They could be potential facilitators. They could be potential customers. Likewise, Plug and Play also has a very extensive network of leading technology solutions across the globe. So we look to connect solution providers and these potential solution adopters to validate and test their solutions. And where there's a match, where there's a possibility for a proof of concept pilot, we can then use our other instruments, including seed and fund and ADB Ventures Fund to help these companies to validate and scale their solutions. Fund 1 is our first fund. We've already begun work on setting up Fund 2. And our goal is really to crowd in a large amount of commercial venture capital into these sectors of interest to us. So I'm sure you'll know that Southeast Asia, South Asia, Asia Pacific generally gets a lot of attention from the venture capital world, and there's no shortage of funding. But when you break down that funding and you look at where it's going, the vast majority of funding is going to certain sectors like e-commerce, gaming, certain verticals of fintech. It's going towards slightly later stage deals, and it's also heavily concentrated in larger markets like China, for example. So we are really looking at trying to get more VC funding into some of these other verticals, into some of these other sectors that can both generate commercial returns as well as the impact we want. And we also want to spread VC funding and the impact of innovation to solving big problems outside of large markets, but also into some of the more smaller fragmented markets in Southeast Asia and South Asia. In terms of where we get our funding from, so aside from the Asian Development Bank, the ADB, we've also raised funding from various strategic partners, not just in Asia, but also outside of Asia from Europe. Of course, in Asia, we have partnerships with Korean VCs and the government as well. So it's a public-private partnership. Now, there's different strategic interests here, but the common goal is really, of course, to solve big problems. But our European and Korean partners are also interested because they believe there are existing, it's not about the latest deep technology. It's not about the latest cutting edge technology that's happening right now in a lab. But there's often a lot of technology solutions that have already been successful and applied to markets maybe more developed, perhaps already even no longer new in Europe or North America, but they've yet to reach the masses and reach low-income markets in a larger geographic area. So we're also partnering with global accelerators to bring some of these solutions from more developed ecosystems into emerging markets in Asia to solve local problems here. So the sectors we focus on 4 sectors: clean tech, agri-tech, fintech, and health tech. So in terms of clean tech and clean energy, so ADB has a lot of extensive experience of investing in renewable energy projects. We work with a lot of energy utilities across the region in trying to help access energy for remote rural communities. And we believe there's lots of applications of technology, including energy efficiency solutions for buildings, last mile energy solutions such as off-grid solutions to increase mobility and access, and circular economy solutions to recycle waste and reduce energy consumption. Agriculture is also of interest to us. Of course, as you all know, the huge problem facing Asia as food demand increases, middle income populations will rise to a significant percentage of the population, people demanding high quality food. So solutions that related to smart farming, farming mechanization, agricultural marketplaces, traceability solutions, alternative protein solutions, all of interest to us. And then within the fintech space, we overlay a fintech with climate. So here it's access to finance for remote groups, for SMEs that are vulnerable to disaster, changes in climate that affect their income, their inventories, insurance risk products to better insure against climate and disaster, and any solutions that can crowd in more investment into renewable energies. And then finally, in terms of health tech, climate and disaster actually results in a lot of airborne, waterborne diseases that can spread more easily. So we're working with ministries of health, we're working with hospitals to support last mile health service delivery to communities that are vulnerable to these types of diseases, and also governments to help them better predict the spread of infectious diseases. So these are the 4 areas that we focus on. Our main focus is Southeast Asia and South Asia, but we do have a little bit of flexibility also to invest outside, but those are the main 2 markets. 80% of our investments are focused on trying to achieve climate impact, so CO2 reductions, helping communities vulnerable to climate. But we also apply a gender investment lens to all of our investments, looking at it from the perspective of, are our investments, do the companies we support also target females as an ultimate beneficiary customer, and whether there are backward supply chains that also create employment opportunities for women. This is one example of a company that we've funded, just to give you an illustration. So within Asia, well, the leather industry, and I'm sure a lot of you will be wearing leather now, including leather shoes, leather jackets. The leather industry is actually a fairly dirty industry. When you manufacture leather in traditional processes, it uses a lot of water, a lot of chemicals. There is human negative effects, but also it results in a lot of CO2 emissions. Actually, it's one of the biggest man-made contributors to CO2 in globally. So what this company does is that they use byproducts from the pineapple industry, the pineapple head that is usually just thrown away after the pineapple flesh is cut off, to manufacture alternative leather, which is sufficiently high quality for leading fashion industry players to purchase their products. Including Gucci and Nike. So this is one company we're supporting and trying to help them to scale their product in the region. So to ADB Ventures Labs, Labs is an instrument for us to be able to validate technology solutions and test whether they really have it, whether the team really has the capabilities and the solution can really crack emerging markets. And it's a way for us also to support our existing portfolio of companies that we've invested in. So through our partnership with Plug and Play, we look to match the adopters, which ADB has a huge network of in Asia, to understand their problems, aggregate, and then connect. And then through Plug and Play's network to global solutions, we look to source them, validate, and match, and give them visibility and give them commercial opportunities to connect to these clients. And the output we generate is proof of concept pilots, which can then result in de-risking of potential investment opportunities. So 2019, 2020 was largely about experimentation, fine-tuning our approach, working with different partners, and piloting in different verticals. So with Plug and Play, we focused on sustainable travel. We worked with some of the leading hotel industry, corporate hospitality players, including Hilton Hotel Groups, Jetwing, Minor Hotels, to really look at, these guys were interested in energy efficiency solutions, water efficiency solutions, circular economy solutions to help drive more sustainable hotel industry practices. And through Plug and Play, we've been quite successful in sourcing some very interesting solutions from around the world and connecting them to these hospitality. And then that's resulted in a few POCs. And there's 1 or 2 companies now that we're looking at potentially investing in. Going forward next year, we're looking at broadening this partnership with Plug and Play and other accelerator partners towards going deeper in other verticals with a similar approach, including in agri-tech, insurance tech, circular economy, particularly with a focus on plastics, and then tapping into ADB's networks across municipalities and cities in the region. We're looking at running a smart cities initiative in partnership with Plug and Play and other partners. So that's the end of my presentation. It was a short 10-minute overview. I hope that got you thinking about possibilities on how to work with ADB Ventures with Plug and Play to solve some of the biggest problems in the region, please visit this website if you'd like to learn more about our programs, and looking forward to working with some of you and interacting with some of our audience today. So thank you very much.
Up next, we'll be having a corporate panel discussion, a way back post-COVID. Let's welcome our corporate panel speakers.
Good morning and good afternoon to everyone dialing in from different parts of the world. Thank you for joining us today for this panel. Before going into the panel, I'd like to provide a short introduction to our global travel and hospitality practice. We launched in Silicon Valley in 2016, and since then have steadily developed multiple hubs around the world, covering the US through Silicon Valley, Europe through Geneva and Vienna, and Asia through Shanghai and Singapore. To date, we have accelerated more than 250 startups across our global accelerator programs, invested in more than 27 startups, and currently work with 38 corporate partners across the traveler journey, encompassing major airports, airlines, travel management companies, and much more. Our APAC program, headquartered out of Singapore, looks to accelerate and scale solutions that will go towards creating a sustainable tourism sector. We have accelerated 18 startups in 2020 and look forward to having them share more about their progress in the second half of this program today. Now, to kick off this session, I'd like to invite all our speakers to introduce themselves and share about their organization one by one. To start, I would like to invite Sher Khan, Managing Director of Changi Airports International, to provide an introduction. Sher, please.
Thanks, Patricia. Good afternoon, guys. I'm from Changi Airport International, a subsidiary of Changi Airport Group. You guys know Changi Airport Group as the operator of Changi Airport in Singapore and Seletar Airport. Changi Airport International invests in about 8 airports worldwide and consult in about 20 airports. In the last decade, we have been consulting in about 200 airports, and basically I head the consulting department of Changi Airport International. We are made up of 4 verticals. The first being traffic development, where we help airlines operate between airports and build up business cases for more traffic between 2 airports. The second is operations, in which we look at operational flow, and currently we are busy with post-COVID work. The third is the commercial side, where we look at commercial, where we look at planning and designing shops and shop requirements. And the last is our econs, which is the forecasting arm of our consultancy. Looking forward, we are looking to implement a lot more technology-based verticals. For example, cybersecurity, digitalization, and of course, ESG, which is the topic of the day, environmental sustainability and green. That's all from my side. Thanks, Patricia.
Thank you for that, Sher. So next, I would like to invite Jerome Thill, VP Innovation at Singapore Airlines, to provide an introduction. Jerome, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me today. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I'm in charge. I'm helping Singapore Airlines, the group, with digital innovation and transformation. When I say SIA Group, it includes Scoot Airline, it includes SIA Engineering Company. So it's a holistic mission. We have 3 pillars on which we are working on today. One is we're focusing on people. We're helping our people to really get to transform themselves, because this is the only way to transform a company, is to actually help people to transform, to get to a transformation journey. I can explain how we do this. It's pretty exciting. We have another pillar, which is really an end-to-end startup engagement program, which we run together with a close partnership with Plug and Play. This program has 2 main components. One is a hackathon, which is one of the largest hackathon, I think, today in Asia when it comes to travel. And what we are calling an accelerator, which is basically getting startup to deliver the proof that they can actually solve a problem for us. And the third pillar of our program is something which is becoming increasingly important, as you can imagine, is new business and business transformation. I mean, of course, with the situation we're going through and we're living right now, it's more important than ever to think about how we can look at beyond flight, beyond flying planes and transporting people. And there are a lot of business opportunities in which Singapore Airlines could tap in, whether it's for new consumer business or whether it's new B2B opportunities. So we're actively looking at that. My team has never been as busy as we are today. I mean, with the COVID situation, you could think, there is no plane in the sky, so why would you be busy? We have tremendously accelerated the digital transformation for the company. We have mobilized the team. The team is working really weekends, late night, every day for the last few months to deliver, innovation to accelerate the transformation. So pretty impressed with what's going on at Singapore right now. Thank you very much. Happy to be part of this panel.
Thank you so much for that, Jerome. I think it's very exciting, the work we're doing together, and we look forward to doing much more as the markets start to open up. So with that, next, I would like to invite Kenneth Lee, General Manager, Information Technology Solutions at Cathay Pacific Airways, to provide an introduction. Kenneth, please.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kenneth. I look after the IT application development in Cathay Pacific. Cathay Pacific consists of Cathay Pacific, HK Express, and our low-cost carrier, and also the Asia Miles, which is our loyalty program. I guess, definitely we always look for new technology solutions that actually marry up with a business problem that we can address or explore more into. Locally, we partner very closely with the local university and also Science Park on accelerator-related program. Internationally, I think that we also look at different solutions and initiatives which can actually help the airline grow and be more efficient.
Thank you for that intro, Kenneth. So I guess with that, everyone's pretty excited to share a little bit more about what's going on in this market. So let me start off with the first topic for today's panel. With the important role of digital initiatives and innovation to enable and accelerate the post-COVID recovery of the industry, I would like to ask the panel about each organization's strategy. How has your focus shifted in terms of trends and technology innovation? And what are the key priorities for the remainder of 2020 going into next year? So perhaps we can start with Cher. Can you give a little bit more insights on initiatives that you have coming up, and maybe also some that are already ongoing?
Yeah, thanks, Patricia. So as airport leaders, we acknowledge that the business success is not about deployment of technologies as it is. It is instead, success is about transforming the business of the airport, adapting to customer, adapting to the requirements of the staff working in the airport environment, the community, and the culture, and leveraging the existing and new technologies to meet the objective of the travelers. So in a way, just to lead on to what Dominic says, we have been busy with two things. One is to find how can we apply new technologies and digitalization in order to improve what we are already doing today. And second, to look for new businesses and new tools in order to allow us to do our business better. So since WHO declared the pandemic on the 11th of March 2020 this year, it seems like a decade ago, we have actually been busy trying to find new tools in order to do our job better. We have tried to find tools in order to shorten the work that we do and scale up the work that we can do in other markets. As you can imagine, part of our consulting requirement is to travel to our overseas market, which basically has just stopped in the last 9 months. So the digital tools and so on has been very important for us to be able to do our job remotely. And going forward, I think digital tools will be expanded. We are looking at a general term airport as a service, where we could provide digital tools either on site or via from Singapore. This is very much work in progress. Going forward, also we are actually looking at introducing new products new verticals. So digitalization actually is a new vertical that we're trying to introduce going forward. And in fact, we are expanding things that we used to do internally, externally. For example, designing IT infrastructure. So these are things that we are going to concentrate on. A lot of it involving technology, the digital sphere, and in terms of doing things better and doing more things. So that's about, in a nutshell, what we are going to concentrate on for the rest of the year. Thanks, Patricia.
Thank you so much for that, Cher. So, Jerome, let's hear from you next. What is next for Singapore Airlines and Chris Lab? Can you share some more about your strategies for the remainder of the year and next year?
Yeah, sure. As I told you earlier, we have those three pillars. I can just explain briefly what we are doing and how we are increasing and intensifying our effort when it comes to our people, especially because that's really something close to our heart. We believe there is no success in digital innovation or transformation without bringing people on the way, right, with you. So when I asked my team, I think it was back in March, when we started really looking at, oh my God, we are this for a certain time. We're not getting out anytime soon from this situation. Then I asked my team, what do you think we can do? How can digital help here? And they came back with a fantastic idea. I mean, an idea which happened to be absolutely great. They said, what we're going to do, we're going to build a community platform, a digital platform, and we're going to get anyone in the company, cabin crew, pilots, engineers, ground staff, whoever wants to do something about the situation and help the company to come and join and post their ideas, share their ideas, and get other people to react to their ideas and pick it from there and try to move it eventually to a prototype and eventually to an implemented solution. And something very, very interesting happened, which every day, when you wake up, you have all this bad news, right, happening. I tell you, when I feel a little bit down, I'm going on this platform, I'm logging in, and I'm reading what people are posting there. It makes my day every time. It makes me feel very positive about the way the company is going through this situation. I mean, you have ideas. You heard about Fly to Nowhere and hosting restaurants. A3. This is something which was posted as soon as June, this year. End up becoming a real initiative. And I could mention a lot of examples like that. I think seeing people coming on board, sharing their ideas, and the trick is when they share their ideas, they don't only share an idea and we have to do it and we have to pick on their ideas. What they do is they become the owner of their ideas and they have to carry on with their ideas. Well, that's our program. And they become, in a way, an entrepreneur within the organization. And my team is nothing else than a facilitator. We help them going from this idea to an actual implemented solution. So over the last 3 years, so that you have an order of magnitude of what we're doing, over the last 3 years, we have a lot of, something more than 1,000 ideas have been submitted. I'm looking at my notes here just to say things right. More than 1,000 ideas have been submitted, out of which more than 115 ideas moved to prototyping. Out of which more than 20 prototype became implemented solution in real life, right? And we have accelerated this tremendously over the last few months. So that's something, we have available brains, pilots are not flying, crews are not flying. So the fact that these people who are very smart, who know the company very well, who know the business very well, who know our customers better than I do, much better than I do, having them joining this is absolutely fantastic. And so that's, I would say, if there is a positive aspect to this crisis, it's this one. It's seeing this phenomenon happening. I don't know if it's specific to Asia, to Singapore, or to Singapore Airlines, but it's pretty remarkable. And I wanted to share this with you. Now, moving forward, to answer your question, Patricia, moving forward, it's about rebuilding the network, getting prepared to restart the business, exercising financial prudence. It's about, still working on the digital roadmap. So I can mention a lot of innovation that are coming in, self-service booking, we can get refund directly by going online. You can e-order your food from your mobile when you're on the lounge. You can control the in-flight entertainment system with your mobile. we just launched Chris Plus, which is a mobile app which gives you a lot of deals. You can use your Chris flies to Chris miles to actually pay with Chris Pay. We are doing contact tracing. We are informing people on the go before they book the plane to know about the restrictions in a specific destination. And it's an endless list of things I could, it's a Christmas list I could share with you forever. So I stop here. I don't want to be too long. So, but digital is becoming, I think, a turning point now. It's becoming a way to, emerge stronger from this situation, hopefully as soon as possible. Back to you, Patricia.
Thank you, Jerome. And I couldn't agree more. This is a moment where we can really sit back and reflect on how to change and how to evolve stronger. So it's really interesting to see how open Singapore Airlines is becoming to put people first and at the center of everything that's happening. It's truly inspiring. So Kenneth, now back to you. What are some initiatives that are high priority to Cathay Pacific? Can you share some ideas and some work that you guys are doing?
Sure. I guess a classic a business school example, asking these type of questions, a year ago, is quite different, a year later. But I guess the overall strategy in terms of being customer centric and being operational excellence hasn't really changed. But then of course the priorities has changed a bit in terms of the operating environment. Can I agree with Jerome more? I mean, it just gives us a little bit of a breathing room to take a look at an ever-running machines and like how do you kind of stop it for a while and then look at the operations. So the COVID situation did give that an opportunity. We accelerated a lot of the efficiency improvement at workplace, a lot more automations, ideas. We have a constant delivery train in what we call an end-to-end process that ideas are generated constantly. So, we were able to go back to the backlog and see, okay, so which ones that we can actually reprioritize and start implementing. Automation is another one. We accelerated a lot of the employee engagement process and also a lot of internal processes that which would not otherwise first having the people and having the breathing room to actually implement those changes as well. We actually turn a lot of our touch points into live chat and also, automate those process to turn paper-based process to digital as well. Externally, of course, any initiative that can help the restart in terms of revenue management, and I think that from airline standpoint, cargo flights are still flying. There's a lot more cargo demand, e-commerce on goods that are being shipping around. So we're also looking at solutions to improve the overall shipping experience from both forwarder or even to the end customer as well. Again, from a post-COVID standpoint, enabling that touchless journey or seamless journey for the customer, keeping them informed, keeping them worry-free, having that journey worry-free is important for us as well. As I think, Jerome actually mentioned that earlier, also airlines are looking at, diversifying their portfolios and product as well, in these situations where flights are, passenger flights are not flying, what else are that the airline can venture into, and different products and services are things that we're working on. Over back to you, Patricia.
Thank you so much for that, Kenneth. So it seems the common topic for today as it relates to new strategies is people-centric. The way forward for the industry will take everyone to emerge stronger. And this starts with us, those working in travel companies, startups innovating in the space, and everyone taking part in the traveler journey. So we're all very excited to be part of this and look forward to having all of those in the audience to work together so that we can emerge stronger. So with that, going on to the next topic for today's panel, with many people seeing that Asia will lead the way for the industry, as markets in the region will be first to open and pilot safe protocols for travel. We see that each of you as organizations have invested in various projects and strategic priorities. Are there some of these projects you're currently working on that you could share more about in terms of case studies? Kenneth, maybe we can start with you. What is Cathay Pacific currently working on? Any specific projects you want to share about? as it relates to your organization?
Sure, definitely. I mean, more than ever before, we're actually working closer and closely with airports as well to improve that customer journey for our overall customer experience. For example, how best to communicate and reassure the public about travel, the itinerary, and also the safety aspect of that. We are working spending a lot of time on that. Turning a potentially unknown and stressful journey to a known and comfortable one is important. This includes the ability to understand what it's take to travel in and out of different countries, territories, and taking that stress out of the whole COVID testing, immunization, addressing that potential medical needs while they're actually in a foreign country. That reassurance is important as well. Of course, even on staying agile on some of these requirements, as these situation continue to change, rules and regulation continue to change. It challenged a very standard operating procedure based airlines to constantly adapting to an ever-changing environment and ever-changing setup at airports or immigration.
Thank you for that, Kenneth. I think it's very exciting to see that these things are being prioritized. Now, Cher, as an airport, I am sure there are many projects you've been working on over the last few months, not just looking at Singapore through Changi Airport, but also looking at the other the other airports that you're managing under Changi Airport International. So with that, can you share some examples of projects that have been accelerated and decelerated due to the pandemic in terms of priorities?
Yeah, sure. So I guess we are fortunate that we are based in Singapore, where the community cases are very much in control now. That has allowed us to actually operate and actually give confidence to a lot of our investee airports and also for travelers who are planning to come to Singapore. So right at the start, there are 4 areas in which we as an airport operator are very much into. Number 1, we are safeguarding our border because it's very important for us to ensure that the Singapore and Singapore hub is well protected. The second, we work with our airline partners like Singapore Airlines and even foreign airlines like Cathay Pacific to ensure business continuity as and when the travel can start. As the cargo flights are operating and a lot of flights are restarting, whether it's repatriation flight or whether it's actually scheduled flights that have started in a few areas, including Japan, Korea, and China. The third is we are actually helping our airport partners in terms of cost mitigation, and also there's a lot more cooperation at the airport level. And the fourth, I think this is what was being touched on earlier, is building confidence. We are doing a lot of things in terms of engaging our current customers, even if they're not flying. We are engaging the current customers within the community, within the airline community, within the staff that works at the airport, and within the people in Singapore. In fact, we have to do new things like we have the Changi Festive Festival that's coming up for people to come to the airport and do a lot of things. One particular, I think, project that is of interest is that in Changi Airport, one of the main projects that we're working on is actually the Changi testing facility. We are actually going to test and provide results within the airport environment. I think this is quite an innovative step in order to encourage travel in Asia as soon as possible. Of course, one caveat is that Asia is big. There are destinations in Asia which is ready for travel, like China, which have actually, I can share with you that one of our investee airports in China, which is Chongqing, the domestic travel is almost pre-COVID level. Our airports in Russia is now exceeding pre-COVID level. Yeah, so
how crazy is that?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, people are traveling and they are now exceeding pre-COVID level. Of course, most of the travel is domestic. International travel is still limited. So Asia as a whole is a bit patchy. Indonesia, Malaysia is a bit behind in the curve. But there are, of course, other countries like China and Vietnam, which are ahead of the curve. So I think in terms of getting ready, we just have to be ready for expect the unexpected, because rules change. I mean, like we had the air traffic, air travel bubble that we were planning for to start last Sunday, which did not happen. So a lot of the projects are projects which is dependent on regulation, but it's something that we are very prepared for in terms of Asia's travel recovery. Thanks, Patricia.
Thank you. Yeah, sounds very exciting about this Changi testing facility. I think that will be our first stop going anywhere out of Singapore for the remainder of next year. So also with that, I'd like to check in with Jerome. What are some projects you can share about as it relates to Singapore Airlines in terms of your priority list now and the one that you had before? Maybe you could share a little bit more on that scope.
Yeah, sure. I can think of 5 things. I mean, first of all, let me just make a little observation. I don't know if you guys agree, but look, if you look at what's happening in the world, like Europe and the US are struggling significantly more than other parts in the world, which is very much unexpected, right? We would think that those advanced countries, so to say, would have a better hospital system and sanitary system, and yet it looks like in other parts of the world is going better. And one of the reasons might be that where decisions are more decentralized rather than centralized, where countries are more agile. And by the way, mentioning Germany in Europe, which is the country which is doing better than the others, because most of the political decisions and organizational decisions are decentralized to the lenders, the regions, right? The provinces in a way. So it tells us a lot about how important agile actually is. It's not just a concept. Facing such a situation, if you're agile, flexible, reactive, you actually get out better, faster, right? So that's a big lesson to me, and I was actually surprised that, from what I can observe. When it comes to SIA more specifically, obviously we are looking at increasing touchless and seamless solutions, digital solution, right? For obvious reasons. This being said, it's very important that we keep in mind that they cannot be a substitute to what we are known for, which is the quality of service. We don't want to dehumanize, if I can put it that way, the service, right? So we need to make sure that we keep this core value of Singapore Airlines intact moving forward. Also that we care, Singapore Airlines is known for caring for all people, for our staff, and caring for our customers. What this company has shown over the last few months is how much it cares for its employees. Because what's the point of caring for your customers if you don't put your employees first, right? So very important for us was to really focus to make sure employees are safe and that they're equipped with the right solutions and that that we listen to them and we empower them to do the right things. We have a significant upskilling program for employees, which is becoming extremely important. Obviously, we take the opportunity to get them, to be more familiarized with the transformation we're going through. We obviously look at the future business as being probably reshaped to a smaller scale for some time. So we rather focus more on profitability than what we were focusing on, which was accelerating growth maybe a year ago. We also learned that coming back to the agile and flexibility, collaboration is in essence. We need to be more collaborative with other airlines, but not only other airlines, with airports, but not only airports, with health organizations, right? We are in this together. If we don't understand that, joining forces is what we need to set up the right solutions, whatever it is, health certificate, whatever it's going to be in the future, we have to get to the table and to decide how we're going to face this together, because we all depend on that. And the last thing, the fifth thing I want to mention is moving forward, new businesses is becoming very, very important, right? Because when your business is down to single digits, like overnight, the shock is, when you recover from the shock, and you stand back on your feet, you're gonna have to ask yourself the right questions. You know, what am I doing here, and why? What is my why? So how am I gonna move forward in the future? And that's keeping us busy a lot. So we are looking at where do we have a right to play as a brand, you know, as a well-known airline, beyond flying people, you know, getting into some other businesses. I cannot share much about this, but of course, you know about Chris Shop, which is already, you know, our online retail branch. But we have other initiatives. I just mentioned Chris Plus. Some of them are internal, and some of them are gonna be more like external in partnerships with startups. So that's what I can share with you, Patricia, today.
Thank you, Jerome. I think it's all very exciting. Everyone's looking forward to creating the new normal, right? So thank you all for providing that insight. As a final topic for today's panel, I would like to ask the panel about your views of Asia leading the recovery amid opportunities and challenges in 2021. In particular, can you share more about the trials with the Common Project, travel corridors between Singapore, Hong Kong, and other markets in the region where possible? So with that, Kenneth, I'd like to start with you. I would love to hear your perspective essentially in terms of sentiment from Cathay Pacific, the locals on the ground in Hong Kong, as well as the extended traveler ecosystem from China that you interact with. Could you share more on this topic, and especially more about your sentiment related to this travel bubble being deferred?
Sure. Of course, you know, we were very excited about, you know, the start of the travel bubble. I think that, you know, we still are, and is definitely looking forward to that. I'm sure that, you know, people in Asia has been staying put for quite some time and is ready for travel. As you mentioned, I think that Asia is dynamic and do understand the need and how to balance the recovery and the risk of opening the border. And I think that, you know, definitely a very good step between Hong Kong and Singapore, you know, having that bubble set up. Of course, you know, Hong Kong needs to do our parts to make sure that, you know, the situation is under control. But definitely, you know, I think that for us, we're very excited. We're ready to restart, you know, the travel. But of course, as you mentioned, I mean, Asia is also very interesting, is that there are many individual jurisdiction and rules. So, you know, projects like Common Projects and initiatives which can standardize and cover a wider range and dynamic natures of requirements, different requirements is essential. Of course, it put challenges to officials, airports to also look at, you know, transforming the way that we work. I mean, like, you know, traditionally, I may be interacting very more with the local airports, but nowadays I need to, you know, talk to more airports in terms of, you know, what is their infrastructure, what is the readiness. So it does accelerate a lot of the communication as well, and it does pose challenges because, you know, the way of working is different, and transforming the way that people used to work. From also, you know, from very paper-based rules and regulations, you know, on immigration rules, in pages and, you know, basically a printout, to how to do it electronically so that, you know, these rules can be understood by systems and can automate that process, which is very important. Of course, I mean, I'm sure that, you know, people will agree that, you know, of course, you know, doing all these while protecting the privacy and allowing, basically people's privacy while allowing a potential outbreak can be traced and individual being tested, vaccination records on a trusted platform and verifiable platform is very important for us to restart travel safely. Over back to you.
Those are very valid points, and I think that's something key for all of us, right? Making sure that it's safe and having the protocols set up in a way that's now more agile and efficient, taking some of Jerome's words. Thank you for that, Kenneth. Now moving on to the Singapore perspective. Jerome, how do you feel about this topic, and does your perspective change as you consider the regional markets that are served by Singapore Airlines in Southeast Asia and beyond?
Well, I cannot be the spokesman for Singapore Airlines on this topic, but I will try my best to stay true to the company thoughts. Look, it looks like to me, and again, I don't know what you think, but to me, it looks like those who were pretty strong before this crisis might emerge stronger. Unfortunately, those who were already a bit weak before this situation might struggle more, right? Take, for example, Singapore Airlines, what are the strengths and why we believe that maybe, we can emerge stronger from this situation. Singapore Airlines is known for, obsession to details, safety, care for customers, right? All these values. They become even more important now. They were already very important in the airline business before, but think about now how more important they are, right? It's not only about feeling good and feeling safe flying, it's about feeling good and feeling safe commuting, and interacting with people, interacting with staff and employees, right? So that's where you have those values deeply anchored into a company for the last decades. Obviously, it's going to be easier for Singaporeans to use those values and apply them in real life as we emerge from the situation. Hopefully soon. Moving forward, I think what we've learned is definitely a lesson of humility. We have to be more humble. We have, and I'm not saying as a company, but in general, we as people, our certitudes today can be wiped out, very, very quickly. Think about what just happened. It's pretty much unbelievable. So be more open to collaboration, as I mentioned earlier, is something that we've probably learned from this. And if we were focusing on our people and our staff before, we focus even more now, because we have to upskill them, to get and to embrace the new future of work. Because another thing we have learned from this situation is our daily work has changed. The way we interact with people, the way we work together, we join forces on projects and make things happen has totally changed, And we still have to realize how much it has changed over the last few months. And so we need to, it was like in a panic mode in a way. So now we have to sit down and think about how we really embrace that more as an opportunity and find the right balance between remote. Just before joining this call, my laptop crashed, and I'm doing this to my mobile, thankfully. But what it tells me? It tells me maybe my laptop is telling me that he has a digital fatigue. He has enough of these remote calls that we do every day. So maybe there is a message here. So anyway, what I'm trying to say here is, really thinking about what we can learn. The future is unpredictable. I don't know if we're gonna get out of this soon or not. Vaccine has yet to prove their efficiency. So let's be prudent on that. Back to you, Patricia. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Jerome. As usual, very candid and of course, very on the point. We want to figure out how everyone's perspective is changing as it relates to a country and as it relates to different players in the industry. So with that, lastly, let's hear from you, Cher. Could you share more insights from the airport perspective? What is the sentiment from Changi Airport in regards to the Commons project and regional travel corridors that will open up in the coming months? Can you talk a little bit about also the deferral and maybe your sentiment related to that?
Yeah, thanks, Patricia. I like what Jerome just said. The whole pandemic has made us more humble in order to basically realize that we have to work together in a partnership. We have to work together as a community, both airports and airlines, and of course to take care of our staff. Let me share with you, basically, from a Changi Airport perspective, other than ensuring safety and so on, we always think about how to make travel easier. And I think one of the things that we need to understand in order to make travel easier is to understand the passengers. Maybe I'll share with you some of the information that we have. So basically, we have also been embarking on a lot of customer surveys, community surveys, to understand what will make travel easier and what will make the recovery faster. So good news for especially for the airports and the airline is that almost 85% of the customers say that they would like to commence travel within the year. Only about 16% indicate that they would hold off 1 year post-pandemic before they start traveling. So there is actually a pent-up demand of customers who want to travel. And A lot of it are in the three to 6 month range. So they will wait for the pandemic to slow down and they will start traveling about 3 months after that. So there is a pent-up demand. But what is the main barriers for people traveling? I can tell you based on our survey and the surveys from say ACI and so on, is that almost 76% of people would travel only if they are not going to be quarantined or quarantined for extended period of time. So these are areas that we have to look at. 60% would choose a destination based on the COVID cases and how they've handled the COVID. 50% would wait for to get comfort on how the global pandemic is. 43% indicate their financial situation post-COVID. This is actually quite interesting. And this is something that I think I want to touch on what Jerome has said earlier. The difference between the Americans and the Europeans and the Asian. So when the survey was done, a lot of the Asian put a lot of emphasis on the healthcare and the financial situation before they will commence travel. A lot of Americans and Europeans actually put the health situation and their financial situation very low. So it's actually quite interesting to see that the Asians are more conservative in terms of healthcare and financial situation, but the Europeans and the Americans have less regard about the health situation or their financial situation before they apply. So I think this is quite interesting. In terms of the processes or the industry, what is also interesting is that we see that the survey shows that business travel will actually reduce in the short to medium term. I guess maybe a lot of us are getting used to WebEx and Zoom, getting used to digital interaction and so on. Business travel is set to actually reduce in the short term based on our survey. The vacation travel is about the same, surprisingly, but there is a huge increase of people who, what we call the VFR, those who need to see their friends and their relatives, go back to their family, see guys back home. This group of travel is actually set to increase post-pandemic. I guess everybody has been stuck somewhere. They want to see their mom and dad. They want to see their friends. So this is actually another interesting thing based on our survey. Another interesting thing that I can share is that I think this is also for our people are scared of catching COVID in 4 areas. So there are a lot of touch points within the airport. You take Grab, you go to the airport, you go through the different processes and so on. But 4 main areas are the areas in which people are most worried that they will catch COVID, which are number 1, passport and security control. Number 2, the commercial areas where they shop, in case especially you're going for duty free and so on. Number 3, washroom. And number 4, for my airline colleagues which are on the same panel, planes. So these are the 4 areas in which people are most worried that they will catch COVID. And these are the areas that we have to put more emphasis on to ensure that we give confidence or we build confidence to people before we can travel. So in effect, I think a lot of the effort is building confidence now, ensuring the regulatory regimes are actually being met. I think in terms of the difference of the air travel bubble between Singapore and Hong Kong, I think it is the rules were preset. That if there were certain triggers, there will be a deferment of the air travel bubble. The rules were set in such a way that if there were cases in either Hong Kong or Singapore, it would trigger a suspension. Unfortunately, that triggered happened a day before the start. But I think it is for the safety of all. And I think it only shows that the triggers work. And I think that builds confidence in everybody. And we look forward in a few weeks' time that it will actually start. So that's all from my side, Pat. Patricia.
Thank you, Cher. I do think that's the second topic for today, right? Building confidence so that everyone can resume a new normal. So with that, this is all the time we have for today's corporate panel. Thank you to all of the panel speakers from Singapore Airlines, Changi Airports International, and Cathay Pacific for sharing about your initiatives and insights into the market. Thank you to all of you for joining today's expo virtually, and we look forward to seeing you for the next segment of Startup Pitches after this. So with that, thanks everyone, and look forward to reconnecting with you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the insightful discussion. Now, let's welcome our amazing startups who have been working closely with us during these 3 months. Bringing up our very first startup, Comfort IQ. Comfort IQ adds intelligent occupancy detection for HVAC system in hotels. Let's welcome John, who's based in US.
Hi, everyone. My name is John, and thank you for listening to my presentation about Comfort IQ, where we are solving the 2 biggest problems in the commercial office industry in a very unique way. That's energy waste and the hot office, cold office problem. We have created the only room-by-room intelligent occupancy detection system that is combined with room-by-room control of the heating and cooling for commercial offices. And the biggest problem that we're solving is that commercial office buildings are wasting billions of dollars heating and cooling empty spaces. And by all estimates, buildings are about 85% empty right now because of COVID. They're also wasting millions of dollars because the facilities people are having to run around and manually fix the biggest complaint in a commercial office, which is the hot office, cold office problem. The Comfort IQ microzone system solves these 2 problems using proprietary hardware and software. And the way that it works is we install a motorized damper to control the airflow into the office. And we also install a sensor that collects 8 different points of data. We have an app that the occupants use to set their preferred temperature within limits, of course. And when we detect occupancy, we intelligently control the temperature in that office by modulating that damper. And when the office is not occupied, we remove the heating and cooling load altogether, saving energy. So while that is the simple version of how it works, what we're ultimately doing, and which is more important, is that we are using data and machine learning to intelligently manage the HVAC system on a room-by-room basis. So there's a lot of startups that are using IoT and artificial intelligence to optimize buildings and improve their energy efficiency. We're very different. And we are different because we are the only ones doing room-by-room control, which is important because our system works in individual offices instead of groups of offices. We are also different because we are the only ones that are creating models to understand human behavior, as well as the thermodynamics of an office, and combining that to optimize comfort and energy efficiency. We're the only company that's using intelligent occupancy detection and using that to control the HVAC system. Lastly, we have the lowest payback period out of all the other systems, which means that building owners make more money by installing our system. Our business model is a hardware and software sales. We've finished our tech, we're first to market. We expect to close in on about $100,000 of revenue in the next 3 months. We have a huge market that is waiting for our technology because of the sustainability benefits, including for markets in California and New York and in countries where sustainability is important. In California and New York, buildings are forced to become net zero energy use within the next few years. Otherwise, they may have to pay millions in fines. So we're looking to close out our current round of $500,000 before the end of this year to help us get additional paying customers, optimize our sales, installation and manufacturing processes, and file additional patents. So I just want to say thank you very much and appreciate your time. Thank you.
Coming up next, we have LRS Energy, a leading Singapore homegrown solar independent power producer. Let's welcome Pure Menu.
Hello everyone, I am Pierre-Manuel Patry, Chief of Sales and Marketing Officer at LYS Energy Group. LYS Energy was created in 2013 in Singapore. It was the first Singapore-based solar energy pure player. Basically, what we do is we finance, build, own and operate solar facilities, mostly on rooftops, all over SEA region. LYS Energy is focused on C&I market, commercial and industrial, and address SMEs as well as multinationals. Coca-Cola, Rolls-Royce, and Decathlon are among our clients. We provide to our customers a wide range of solutions toward carbon positive, and the adequate solution depends on client needs, of course. So today I'd like to focus on our main offer, which is a solar power purchase agreement, a PPA. The principle is really simple. We build, maintain, and operate a solar plant on your rooftop, and we entirely pay for it. In return, we sell you the green energy produced at a fixed rate for the next 15 to 25 years, depending on your needs and on your lease duration. The rate we provide you for solar electricity is always lower than your actual electricity rate, and it can be up to 70% lower. So you earn money from day one, and the more the conventional energy price increase, the more you save. So there is no other cost on your side. Maintenance is included, there is no capacity charge or other hidden price. You pay only for what you consume. So to summarize, a PPA allows you to do savings from day one with zero capex investment, to purchase green energy with zero carbon emission so you can achieve your sustainability goals, and it allows you to get visibility on your electricity price over the next 15 to 25 years, depending on the duration of the contract. LYS Energy already operates 50 megawatt peak, which is around 500,000 square meters of solar PV assets over 7 countries: Singapore, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, and Myanmar, and will operate more than 350 megawatt peak by the end of 2023. I'd like to finish this presentation by showing you some pictures of our flagship project. We built it for Coca-Cola. The project was commissioned early this year and is the largest solar rooftop in Southeast Asia. Thank you very much for your attention.
Next up, we have Soko. Soko is developing an innovative material that cools everything under the sun without any power consumption. Let's welcome Bar, who is based in Israel.
Hello everyone, my name is Bar Levi and I'm Soko's Business Development Manager. I'm very glad to be here. Thank you for inviting us. And I would like to begin with the common use case I believe we're all familiar with, which is leaving your car parked under the sun, say for an hour or so, specifically on a hot sunny day, that once you return, the car is hot. It's like sauna. You need to lower the windows, you need to turn the air conditioning full on and wait for it to cool. Well, for that and for many other things, we at Soko have invented a nanomaterial that cools itself while it is directly exposed to sunlight. It is based on a physics phenomenon called the anti-Stokes fluorescence, and in abstract, once we let the sunlight meet our material, the sun rays penetrate our system, we then emit them at higher frequencies, meaning that they carry more energy. Thus, as a function of time, our material, the one that we are coating, will lose its energy and therefore will cool. we need two parameters in order for that to succeed. First, we need the sunlight, and we need a lot of it. Second, we need the ambient temperature to be hot. As long as the ambient is hotter, we cool better. I would like you to see this graph, following graph from earlier this year, where we conducted an indoor test. And as you can see, on 40 degrees ambient temperature, where we have projected the same amount of light, meaning the sun, we saw a minus 18 degrees Celsius reduction within our material, reaching to 22 degrees Celsius. While on the contrary, on 5 degrees Celsius, for instance, or 10 degrees Celsius, let's say a sunny winter day, our material was barely cooling. The cooling effect was almost negligible, meaning that we won't cause any harm when we need heat. How do we take this marvel into a real-life application? So the first application we are about to launch will be our film coating. By the end of this year, we'll have our demonstrating piece ready and moving forward. Next to come, we'll have our multi-layer paint and our fabric application to widen our segments that we can offer our solution to. So in fact, our material is not only applicable to cars, it's also applicable to many other types of objects, say greenhouses within the agriculture segments or rooftops within the structure segments and many, many others. Anything that needs cooling while it is exposed to direct sunlight. This is a team combined of vast experts from chemistry, physics, and materials engineering, top of the top, working relentlessly to make this technology a reality. Where are we heading? So thus far we have submitted our PCT patent and looking for, and submitted it at 5 countries. We saw minus 18 reduction within our material on our latest experiments. This year we'll have our demo product, film product ready, and by the year of 2021 we are hoping to start our piloting and field experiments and probably and hopefully first orders. I would like to thank you all for spending the time listening to me and wishing you all the best. Thank you very much.
Next startup is Swimso. Swimso is a leading solar energy supplier and has developed the first commercial marine floating solar system, SolarSea. Let's welcome Daniel, who's based in Austria.
Hello, my name is Daniel Reinhardt. I'm a sales and partner support manager at the Austria-based company Swimsol. Swimsol is a solar energy company that focuses on small islands, our main market currently being the Maldives, our main customer group being luxury island hotel resorts. On small islands, the main source of power is currently diesel generators, which is not only very expensive, but also very unsustainable. Therefore, we build solar energy systems to save diesel. However, since space on small islands is often very limited, we have developed the world's first offshore floating solar technology, SolarSea. With our SolarSea system, in combination with a battery, we can switch off diesel generators for up to 12 hours a day, saving around 50% of the island's diesel consumption. So what is special about our technology? SolarSea is the first marine-grade floating solar system. So our technology can withstand waves, strong winds, as well as the corrosive conditions at sea. Our system is modular, meaning that we can provide any required solar capacity to any island in the Maldives or elsewhere. Our system is designed in a way that the individual parts can be shipped to the island, assembled on the beach, pushed into the water, moored to the seabed, and connected to the island with an underwater cable, so no heavy machinery is required. And we promise that with our system, we can provide electricity more cheaply than the island can produce it with its own diesel generators. So for our customers, we offer two financing models. One is the turnkey model, where the customer simply buys the system and from then on basically has free electricity. The other model is a finance model, which means that we conclude a long-term power purchase agreement with the customer. Throughout the contract period, He buys electricity from us at a rate which is lower than his current diesel energy cost. And after the contract period, the system becomes his property. And from then on, he basically has free electricity. Other interesting markets next to the Maldives are Malaysia and Indonesia, where we are already active. Future markets could be the Philippines, Thailand, the Seychelles, but also the Pacific region. Thank you very much for your interest, and I look forward to your questions.
Coming up next, we have Fabric. Fabric offers a SaaS platform that provides sustainability, energy services, data-driven insights into operating systems within buildings. Based in UK, let's welcome Colin.
Hello, I'm Colin Moss, CEO of Fabric. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to introduce to you the Fabric OS platform today. I'll be covering off the features of Fabric OS, as well as the benefits that a platform can offer to those who are committed to making buildings more sustainable. Fabric OS is a web-based platform that was conceived to provide a complete picture of how a building can be optimized for specific uses with sustainability performance in mind. Ultimately, our goal at Fabric is to offer a purpose-built and robust software platform that enables building services and sustainability professionals to adopt a data-driven and holistic approach for operating buildings in the most efficient and sustainable ways possible. More specifically, the Fabric OS platform was designed such that the analysis of systems like those used to deliver ventilation, lighting, and other key building services could be conducted to optimize these systems for different building uses. To enable this type of holistic analysis, the platform features a robust source-agnostic data acquisition engine that can aggregate and process high-resolution and granular data from virtually any source on how building systems and services are operating and whether these services are being delivered efficiently to meet occupiers' requirements. The flexible Fabric OS data acquisition module allows data that are often housed in silos to be put to use collectively to optimize buildings. This means that data from meters, building management systems, IoT devices, utility suppliers, or even weather stations can all be put to use together within Fabric OS to uncover optimal ways to improve sustainable performance and efficiency. Once data are effectively centralized by the platform's full range of capabilities could then be put to use. At a high level, end users will be able to take advantage of the platform's reporting tools and dashboards to monitor the performance of a group of buildings or a single building. The platform can be used to track amounts of CO2 emitted, energy or water consumed, waste generated, as well as performance per user-defined measures. Going a step further, deeper analysis involving multiple data sets could also be conducted, such as questions on whether building services and systems are operating per occupancy levels, indoor environmental quality, and other objectives could be answered, such as wastage and potential savings could be identified. And to close the loop on sustainable project initiatives, end users could also use the platform's dedicated projects module to quantify financial as well as non-financial returns of efficiency projects using data centralized by Fabric OS. These and other capabilities are made available to end users via a single purpose-built platform, which also features an interface that is widely regarded as one of the most user-friendly ones in the market for both technical as well as non-technical users. Fabric OS is currently used by facility management, energy services, as well as ESG and sustainability management professionals to monitor the efficiency and sustainable performance of buildings. The platform is also continuing to be refined to become more efficient at acquiring and processing data from different systems and sources. And lastly, as Fabric is committed to offering its partners and customers a truly future-proof platform with innovation in mind, as the adoption of the platform ramps up, the Fabric OS platform will also be enhanced over time. In summary, we hope this presentation has been helpful in highlighting the possibilities that the Fabric OS platform can offer to those who are committed to running buildings with occupiers, efficiency, and sustainability in mind. Please get in touch if there are any questions. Thank you.
Next startup, we have Interrail. Interrail develops advanced hotel room automation and energy conservation system. Let's welcome Clement.
Hello, everybody. My name is Clement. I'm the Regional Director for Interrail here in Singapore. We provide the most advanced guest room automation control systems for hospitality. We do for mid-scale to upscale, as well as boutique hotels in terms of our control systems. We're an award winner for the hotel industry technology show in the United States. We are also approved by a number of international as well as regional hotels worldwide. We offer the advanced systems in terms of our lighting and temperature controls, but also we also provide the network and integration capability. We are more of a communication gateway alongside our control system that will allow for a number of other integration capabilities that are necessary for a modern hotel today in order to enhance hotel operations, productivity, as well as to enhance the guest experience in terms of a smart room. Our service optimization capability allows for more productivity and reduction in manpower through the advanced signaling capabilities that we bring. We have a number of other integration partners you can see from the screen where we integrate with a number of other products that the hotel needs. One of the key products is, of course, our door lock control systems integration. So we can do this wirelessly in order to reduce cabling requirements, as well as to reduce all the capex, bringing along a number of other benefits and reduce costs for the hotel operator. We are also online, as well as we also provide a range of glass panel switches in order to bring the technology forward in terms of guest experience. We can customize these glass panels accordingly and have a built-in thermostat in order to reduce cabling costs. We also have the extended panels to make it neat, as well as to have the better guest experience. Our glass panels allow for a full illumination during the night, as well as proximity capability that allows us to move forward beyond what a plastic switch can do. Of course, we can also integrate with the plastic switches, but there are many out there which you can choose from in order to connect to our control system if that's what you want. Our glass panels also come with the Bluetooth technology sensors, so that you then can have a Bluetooth network within your organization. The hotel is able to then use the Bluetooth sensors in order to detect things like trays, hotel trays, room inventory trays, as well as inventory tracking, like extra beds and vacuum cleaners. We also see the system as a way of bringing a number of other devices online from the hotel room into the hotel network in order to do operational reporting to the back of house. We see Interrail as an operating system for the hotel, moving it forward beyond the pure electrical kind of connection and control that is used traditionally. And so I would say that get your hotel rooms ready. Interrail is the system to go. Thank you very much.
Next up, we have Portal Technologies. Portal enables hoteliers to action the world's most comprehensive travelers' behavior. Let's welcome Denise, who's from Singapore.
During 2019, traveler spending reached an all-time high of $300 billion a year in the world's top 20 most visited cities alone. Now, whilst the coronavirus pandemic had an impact on that number, what it won't change is the way in which travelers spend their money, which is incredibly fragmented. Travelers like to spend on food, shopping, entertainment, and many other things, which makes it very, very hard for technology players to capture that behavior and that spending properly. Hotels are amongst the biggest sufferers here. They like to push out these applications, which they think travelers will download. Travelers only see 5 or 6 days worth of value from them, so they decide not to use them, which then explains usage numbers that barely scratch the 1% mark. That is exactly where we at Portier Technologies come in. We provide hotels with smartphones that are placed in each of the hotel's rooms and make it very, very easy for the travelers that arrive at the hotels to use those phones without a barrier to entry, like a download, for example. With that in mind, hotels then get to promote all of the services around, and travelers get to navigate not just what they do at the hotel, but also what they get to do outside of the hotel and whilst exploring the city. With that, we've been able to drive industry-wide highs of 80% worth of activation, which is 80 times more impactful than our nearest competitors. Our travelers then spend around 55 minutes per user per day on our platform, and that is an incredibly captive audience. And because that audience is so captive, hotels and other third parties get to benefit from that audience more than from any other platform. Hotels that we work with today get to increase their revenues by around 25% using our platform by promoting their in-room services, their spas, their dining options, and more. Today, we work with some of the biggest brands in the industry, the Marriotts and Hyatts of the world, but also work with boutique hotels like the Banyan Trees and Pavilions of this planet. During the coronavirus, our platform essentially proved to be one of the ways in which hotels could drive the notion of being emotionally close to their guests whilst being physically distant, because our platform has helped them to consolidate all of their services in a single place rather than needing multiple touch points. Our team is a mix of people who have a strong experience and strong background in the hospitality industry. I was instrumental in creating the first unicorn in Hong Kong, which is a travel technology company. And my partners and my management team have strong experiences in the hospitality sector where they sold companies, as well as in the advertising sector where they managed some of the biggest accounts. Today, we are here raising 8 to 12 million Series A, which is designed to multiply our cities and our destinations and apply the playbook that we've created over the 3 years in a multitude of geographies. I appreciate your time. I'm Dennis, CEO of Potier Technologies, and thank you for listening.
Coming up next, we have Banyan Nation. Banyan Nation is a high-technology recycling company that collects discarded post-consumer HDPE waste and recycle them into HDPE granules. Let's welcome Mani.
Hi, I'm Mani Vajpayee. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Banyan Nation. We are a plastics recycling company. We're based out of India. We work with large multinationals such as Unilever, Reckitt, Tata Motors, and help them use more recycled plastic instead of virgin plastic. Today, circular economy in plastics is a huge opportunity and a major problem as well. Opportunity because dozens of large companies have pledged to replace 25% of their virgin plastic consumption with recycled plastic. However, in countries such as India, Indonesia, and much of Southeast Asia, the collection of discarded plastics is driven by informal recyclers. They lack the technology, scale, and the technical competence to produce high-quality granules for mainstream packaging and products. Over the past 7 years, we at Banyan have developed two pioneering solutions. One, a data intelligence platform to integrate thousands of informal recyclers and bring stability to the supply chain. A second one is the plastic cleaning technology that eliminates contaminants from collected plastics like labels, adhesives, and remnant products. We've raised about $7.5 million in the past few years and built a state-of-the-art facility about 100,000 square feet in Hyderabad. We wash the plastic and eliminate contaminants, reducing the contaminant level to less than 1%. Our granules are REACH and Connect certified. We have signed massive contracts with Unilever and Reckitt to the tune of 18,000 tons over 3 years. That amounts to about $20 million. And we have several other companies in the pipeline as well. Our customers love us because they get our recycled plastic for no extra cost to virgin plastic. Our recycled plastic is of very high quality and blends nicely with virgin plastic. And as a result, when we send our materials to our converters to make bottles, they do not have to change any settings in their machines, and they do not have any additional faults or failure rates in the bottles. The bottles made from our recycled plastics can be recycled several times over. And as we built this business, we are doing a lot of social good as well. We have over 50,000 plus informal recyclers who directly and indirectly benefit from our supply chain. Some of our recyclers, in fact, earn over 10 cents extra per kilo of materials that they trade with us. At full scale, that translates to over $750,000 in extra earnings for our informal recycler network. The other important factor of our business is our machines are extremely energy efficient, but more importantly, the groundwater in India is pretty contaminated. So we take the groundwater out, we treat the groundwater, and we recycle the water after the washing is done, thereby minimizing the amount of water consumption on a per kilo basis. Today, we've de-risked the system and we've set up a state-of-the-art facility, and we've signed long-term contracts, and we've set up a massive supply chain. And thanks to our team, today we are at a position to massively scale the business at a very profitable unit economic model. So we are looking to raise about $3 million today. And the funds will be utilized for three purposes. One is to enhance the quality of materials further and actually get us US FDA approvals. Second thing is we want to invest in machines that improve the performance quality of the materials, but also reduce the operational cost, increasing the operational efficiencies as well. And we are flexible in terms of the nature of the instrument. And if our business model and our traction piques your interest, we'd love to have further conversations with you. Thank you so much.
Last but not least, we have the Plastic Flamingo. The PLAF aims at tackling plastic pollution by collecting and recycling ocean-bound plastic waste. Let's welcome Jasmine, who is based in the Philippines.
How would you tackle ocean-bound plastic waste while maximizing your social impact? Good day, everyone. I'm Jasmine, and I'm going to introduce to you the Plastic Flamingo, or the PLAF. Our core mission is to educate and to collect and transform plastic waste into eco-lumbers and introduce a plastic compensation model. This is fundamental to us, knowing that the Philippines is the third largest contributor of ocean plastic waste in the world. How do we solve this dramatic issue? By implementing the PLAF loop. It starts by collecting all types of plastic waste from different places where we spread the good word about proper plastic waste management. By now, we have a collection network of over 80 collection points composed of schools, restaurants, hotels, offices, plus 8 drop-off points thanks to commercial partnerships. The plastics are then transported to our facility to be sorted and conditioned by our staff, composed of mostly Filipino women. Some of the plastics are directed to our recycling partners. All the remaining plastics, including the non-recyclable ones, will be transformed into eco-lumbers of our own formulation through extrusion. The lumbers are then prepared to build emergency shelters for post-disaster response or to build piles and pontoons to secure habitats above rising sea levels. Our main product, the shelter, is 100% from recycled plastic waste and is 100% recyclable. Its features are specifically designed for populations affected by natural disasters and can easily be assembled without the need of any tools. By 2026, we would have collected almost 25,000 tons of plastic waste, as our processing capacity also increases. This is possible through our supply chain strategy, which utilizes the existing infrastructure and collaborates with different stakeholders for the same goal. As a result, our projected annual revenue will increase to $4.4 million by 2026. With our team of industry experts at the helm, we're confident that we can fight marine plastic pollution. With over 30 tons of collected plastic waste ready to be transformed, and thanks to a $400,000 grant from the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, we are moving to a larger facility in southern Manila to expand our operations. We only need one more thing, and that's your help to scale our operations. With an investment of $1 to $2 million, we will have enough funding to process 10,000 tons of plastic waste per year. Who's with us?
Our regional program focuses on sustainable solutions for the travel and hospitality sector of Southeast Asia. This cohort represents some of the best startups that we're seeing focusing on renewable energy, carbon reduction, as well as energy efficiency systems. We hope that today's lineup is exciting and that you are engaged with some of these startups after today. Thank you.
With that, we have come to the end of our program. If you'd like to get connected with us, please get in touch with myself or Patricia. Thank you for attending the session today, and please join us for our virtual networking session at Remo. We have the details on the screen and see you there.